What's going on, y'all? You know what's going on? We got some supposed results about how much money Sony PlayStation 5 has made since it's joined Steam in 2020. According to Alina, right? You know what I mean? But this is something I think you can gather because it's not like something you're waiting on to come out that's new. So according to them, Sony has made over 1.2 billion on Steam via selling over 43 million copies of PlayStation Studio games. And these are the 5 PlayStation games, or the top 5 PlayStation games on Steam by copies sold. Full analysis in the new free Substack link in bio. Okay, let's just take a look at this right quick. And then we're going to take a look at how much money Sony has made in general outside of that in their own ecosystem. Is there going to be a contest? No, but that's not the point here, because we're going to talk about certain things. Kind of in a way it is. Okay, so obviously Helldivers pulled in a lot. When you think about 12.7 million, it's not necessarily for the $39.99. No, it is for the $39.99 plus the microtransactions and the success of Sony's live service. That is huge for them because they need that. I don't care if Sony did make an app. I would still put my live service games day and date on Steam, no matter what, and even on other consoles, Nintendo Switch, Xbox. Even at that point, just do it. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that for live service because you always want the biggest community. That's why I didn't understand the Horizon MMO stuff. Then they came out. I don't know if you guys saw that. They're like, okay, yeah, we're going to make a PS5 version. I was telling people, man, there's no way. I'm telling you, they're going to go make a PlayStation 5 version of the Horizon MMO. And they're talking about it right now. And they're going to do it, trust me. Now, getting back to this. Horizon Zero Dawn sold 4.5 million. Because that was the first one. People were still kind of happy that PlayStation was coming to Steam. There was a big open arms for that before Sony went on an anti-consumer spree a little bit, you know, after that. Not that soon. And then God of War came. That sold 4.2 million. Days Gone, 3.4 million. We're like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. These are good numbers. And then Spider-Man, 2.7 million. And that's when things were good on Steam. And then after that, there was a huge shift. Definitely when you had that political stuff coming in and all that other stuff. And certain PC gamers do not react well to that. So they started pirating more. Sony's sales started to drop. It was looking really good at first. Then Helldivers launched, 12.7 million. That broke out because, you know, that's Steam for you. They play online shooting games all day, like Counter-Strike and Arc Raiders, as you see. Anything like that, they're going to be all over it. So Helldivers fit perfectly in that world because, you know, it's mouse and keyboard, aiming, shooting, you know, that dog war society. So it's Western society. I mean, you know what I mean? It's war. So that did very well. And I think anything like that coming from PlayStation is going to do well. Literally. So, yeah, my light is whatever today, but it's bright outside, so the contrast is whatever. But let's get back to this. So let me share something with you guys. I think when it comes to this is not that impressive, considering that it's been almost 5 years. Let me tell you why. I'm gonna share this perfect with you guys. Okay, I want you guys to think about this. Get ready. PlayStation 5 has generated 13 billion in operating profit over its first 5 years, but Sony made 136 billion in sales. That's what this is about. That's just kind of the same thing. 1.5 billion in revenue. On their ecosystem, they made 136 billion. You see this? In sales revenue during the period, resulting in a 9.5% profit margin. You want to know why that profit margin is not as high? Because there's so much third party and microtransactions. It's like I said, so most of PlayStation's success is third party and some of those, you know, timed exclusives they get with microtransactions, I guess. But yeah, you know, games like Fortnite and all that, man, you making that much money, guess what? Sony's pulling that revenue on their console. So Epic is looking at Sony like, you're making me the most money off of your platform, or whoever Fortnite makes the most money. And this is how much revenue you made, and you get this little cutback. You know, they say 30% or whatever. Obviously, they get 70, or who knows if there's a different deal. But the thing is that does PlayStation really need Steam? At first, it seemed like it, yes. I would say for live service games, never get rid of that. First party, those numbers are not there anymore like that. Everybody knows that it's tanked down significantly. Sony has made 136 billion in their own ecosystem. Dude, it's nothing. Like, it's almost like it's a small, like a 1% or 2%. You know what I mean? It's like it's not really doing anything. Sony doesn't really need Steam. They could make their own app and keep that within their ecosystem. And hear me out here. What I mean is I don't think that they should abandon PC. What I think they should do in the future, if they want to stick within PC, is make their own app, like Xbox made their own app, and have it to where the PlayStation app is day and date. If they want to do that, you know what I mean? You never know what Sony's plan. That way, and think about it, guys, you're going to be getting PlayStation games then on your PC day and date with the specs that you want, rather than waiting on Steam to get whatever games they're going to select. I know you like your profile and you don't want to move, but I'm saying there's people that have moved to the Game Pass app to use Game Pass app, the Xbox app, might as well call it that, to use Game Pass, because wow, that's what you do. You're not buying anything off the Microsoft Store when you can get it, you know what I mean, on Steam, and not deal with that garbage and use the Proton DB, because you know you want that operating system. You don't want the Windows operating system, and nobody wanted to deal with the Windows Store because they never showed you love. It's garbage. They're starting to prove that for their own benefit now, because that's the direction they have to go. Now, speaking of this though, look guys, I just want to tell you, 136 billion in revenue compared to 1.5 billion in gross revenue is not that impressive when you think about the 5-year period, because it was there since the beginning there, and PlayStation was there, so what's the difference? PlayStation ecosystem is absolutely blowing it away. There's no comparison here. And this doesn't mean that I wouldn't want you guys to play PlayStation games, because I'm not being a PlayStation fanboy about that. This is what I'm saying. If you looked at this from a business standpoint, now I don't want to get Sony games, then you're like, I mean, do I really need you? No, but is it extra money? Nice, because I made because my company earlier with Jim Ryan and everybody else has made stupid decisions that I wanted to take any amount of extra money that I can get, like the failure of Concord, just other dumb things happening. And you guys know what I mean by that. So, yeah, if this is accurate, I mean, this is not impressive, but this was cool, I guess. So this guy says, let's say that number is accurate. 1.2 billion since 2020 is nothing in the grand scheme of PlayStation business since then. And that's what I said exactly. Good comment. You make it sound more important than it really is. This guy says, Days Gone is probably the best-selling game, most likely not to get a sequel. Incredible. Well over 10 million copies. Don't let J-Dub City see this though, and God forbid don't let Nib see it. Electricity will become more expensive for all of us as he will burn AI data centers to the ground writing essays. No, definitely Nib though. Nib's cool though. But he definitely has this emotional explanation. Oh, here comes J-Dub right now. See what he says. Why are y'all keep using the same analytics company? It's always wrong. It's like using Michael Pachter as a source. That's funny. Now, here's my thing. I think that this number may be somewhat relevant, but we have to go off of something here. This popped up and I was like, you know what? You can't, these numbers are already here though. Everybody knows these are the copies that sold there. They were already there. So I don't think this is far off. And as of lately, they haven't been too far away with certain things like the Battlefield numbers and all that. So we have to make some type of estimate here. We know these are the numbers we were given, so you're not making up anything. Now, could Sony have made $2 billion on Steam? You say, hey man, they actually made $2 billion revenue, not profit. Sure. But overall, I mean, this seems to be somewhat in an accurate ballpark. We just need to talk about it here. Even if they did make $2 billion, I want to ask you guys something. Do you think that $2 billion, now this thing is working, do you think that $2 billion is anywhere equal to 136 billion? And Sony having 124 million user base. So I think lately with the updated result, it was 119. And actually, if you update that, I think it's going to be more than this, because this is the fiscal results before that, actually. Yeah. Actually, I think Sony is higher than this now, guys. So we'll have to get the full updated results, because this was June 13th. Yeah. I mean, this was the fiscal we got in the summer, not the one we just got not too long ago. But even then, though, we have some type of comparison here. So yeah, I think personally, what Sony's going to do, if anything, I don't know if they're going to pull their remaining games from Steam, or they're just not going to put any more after that. They probably will if they want to take all of that and put that in that PlayStation app, and then have that going with their handheld off the screen and the console in the living room, just like, you know, Nintendo's kind of been doing for the longest, though they weren't on PC like that. And what Steam is trying to do and what Xbox is trying to do in a way that they have to do it. That's what I kind of think, guys. And I have to say, like I said, there's no contest here. So yeah, I mean, Sony doesn't need them, but do any company want extra money? Yeah, so if they want the extra money, sure, but I think it's a one, it's not a need. Here comes Joy Raptor. The Days Gone PC revenue plus the PlayStation sales should have been more than enough to get a sequel greenlit at every other major company. Man, don't get me started on Days Gone, man. We should have had Days Gone 2 right now. You guys know this. We should have had our Naughty Dog game. You guys know this. We should have had our Blue Point remake. You guys know this. You know what I mean? But we already got past that. Sony knows better now. And it says, interestingly, Helldivers 2 being the biggest hit is also the one game that would have been on PC, even with their old strategy. Another noteworthy thing is that none of the other 4 games in the top 5 came out within the last 3 years. He actually has a good point with that. Actually, that's very true because they're pulling up these numbers. Though we got our numbers, but these are numbers in the PS4 aspect, though they came out a little bit later. Still, though, it doesn't matter. This is how much money Sony has made. So, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think, because I'm telling you right now, this game carried a lot of weight on PC. A lot of there's microtransactions out there. Not crazy, but hey, it's still there. So, you guys know about my video before. Is Sony scared of a Steam machine? Is Sony going to be pulling their games from Steam? I made that video before. And then we get some guesstimates. This is not a fact, by the way, to let you guys know, that 1.5 billion is nothing compared to what their own ecosystem is pulling. So it comes down to, once again, do I want to put my app on here, or do I want to put my app on here and keep getting that extra money over there, or strip that and just make it exclusively about my app and make it all about my identity? I think they may do that, but I'm not solidifying it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. This is something to talk about because, like I said, what else are we going to go off? Because Steam is not giving us the total profit here. And Sony's not saying anything. This is the closest thing we have, so we have to go off for something, right? That's why I said I think this is a good video to do, and it's something to think about as we get closer to finding out what is Sony's next big move for PC. Is it removing? Is it the app? Or are they keeping things the same? We'll find out. Later, y'all. Peace out.